I just want to get out of here and I want to go to Florida. I don't even want to buy. I want to rent. It's going to be like $500,000. It's easy, $500,000. Like, you just can't do that. So say, what will you offer me for a loan? Well, and then let them talk. Any house with an ADU, that's going to be the new talk. Anything with an in-law, an additional dwelling unit, an apartment above the garage, a barn that you can live in with that's legal and stamped.
We got red cell with $25. Hey Nick, is it possible to buy an option on a house? I found a house that I love, but my current rental lease can't be terminated early, and I can't pay for 2 places at once. Lease is 8 months to go. Suggestions.
Yeah, you can write a promissory note, and if the terms agreeable, I think a real estate attorney. I wish my real estate attorney would come on my stream, but he won't, because that's the way attorneys are. But I love him to death. He's my boy. But you can write like a note, be like, I will buy this house from you in 6 months, and if they agree to terms, then yes, it's called an option to buy. Look up like writing an option, and then you can even do it to a disclosed amount. So if you have that's the way my investor friends wanted me. Nick, you're a smooth talker. You can get people. You say, hey, Mr. Homeless person that's not paying your bills. Like, say you weren't paying your bills, Chris, right? Yeah. And you owed, let's just say your house is worth $500,000, and you owed $200,000 on it. I was like, Chris, I'll buy you. Like, you're not paying, but you lost your job.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend died and you were smoking crack.
Yeah.
Chris, I noticed you're behind in your payment. I might have heard through the grapevine that you haven't paid taxes in a year.
Are you from the government?
Yeah. Nope, not from the government. I'm actually just a guy with a bunch of cash. I'm going to give you $25,000 in cash to get the fuck out of here. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, here you go. Sign this contract, and I will promise you that you will leave with $25,000. You know, that's it's sort of like promissory notes, and they flex. They can range to something like that. They can be like an idiot son that inherited a house from his crack, and there's never like nice. We're not talking about mansions, but that's basically the gist of writing deals on.
Yeah.
So
it's
like
possible.
You figure it out. You go, what do you want? Oh, I want to get out of here. I've heard people buying Corvettes. I just want to get out of here and I want to go to Florida. I don't even want to buy. I want to rent.
Florida.
So all right. So if I found this is what crazy deal guys will. They'll be like, all right. So if I found you a place there's this beautiful place called Sunset Ridge in Wackhole, Florida.
Wackhole.
It's in Wackhole, and I want to live there. Okay. So if I paid your rent for 2 years at Wackhole, Florida, and gave you a Corvette, you would get out of here. Right, I would. Sign right here. That could be a deal. Like, that could happen.
Perfect.
So it's up to you to sort of negotiate that whole deal. Seriously. Like, whatever the terms are. But identify. What do you want? What do I want? I can't leave.
No, in this house.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the condition of this house? New to this, has riverfront property included, is bank owned, and could do a deal. Yep. What is a good number to start? Thanks.
I would start at the comp price of it. So I would say, okay, what is this house going to be worth when it's finished? It is a nice house. I don't think this is a bad house. I think this house is not as bad as it looks. A little Victorian. This work is nice. The paint job is going to be $12,000. It's going to be expensive. So just be ready. The riverfront's fine. Does the river flood? Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go there. The way you have to work this anybody looking at this kind of shit, always just say kind of don't buy it, but I'll give you the gist. How much money is this house fixed up worth? If you had to sell it, that's what you need to know, because that's what the bank's going to be thinking. All right, the floors are good. I think, is it settling? Is the foundation cracking? That's first of all, is this house a fire? You got to go underneath. You got to look at the foundation. Is this little foundation? Is this mixed? This thin set that they spread over the foundation, is that a Band-Aid on a broken leg? Is there any settling or pretty, is the house crooked from underneath? You're going to need new mechanical. This house is all cash fix. So let's call the fix on it. It looks like the windows are replaced. It looks like the windows are actually okay. You're going to need new mechanical, new heating. Let's call the heating on this house $25,000. All right. New kitchen, but you're going to spend $65,000 on this house. $75,000. Let's just say that. So say you buy it for $75,000, $1.50. What's it worth when it's fixed? Is it worth $250,000? All right, you're only going to be able to get about 80% of the house's value. So if you say, Nick, if this thing was totally dope and it was fixed up, one down the street sold for $250,000, painted, pretty good piece, not a rat box, with heating and kitchens and toilets that flush and whatnot. Okay, cool. The bank's only going to give you a loan for around 200 grand on this thing, 190 grand. But you're already into this thing for 175,000 bucks, right? Or 150,000 bucks. So you only have like you're on pretty thin margins, and you got to really be careful. And when I say 75, I'm being like I'm trying to be positive and optimistic about it. You know, I think you're going to spend more than that, but I think if you dug in, you could probably get it done quick and cheap and fast and dirty. Just because these Victorians kind of stand up pretty well, man. You know, the houses that were built, they're built with, you know, old growth lumber. They stand up. You know, there are holes in the roof. Is the chimney up? How bad is the flue inside that? You know, you got to look at every component, but add it all up. You got to look at the house, add it all up, fixed, and then be honest with yourself. Like, what's this thing going to sell for? And don't be a delusional idiot. You know what I mean? Where you're like, it's going to be worth $500,000. It's easy, $500,000. Like, you just can't do that, you know? What would it rent for? You know, you should know these numbers. It's a 4-bedroom house. Would a 4-bedroom house rent for $2,400 in Tunkhannock, Pennsylvania? You know? Mold abatement and whatnot is its own thing, but it's fine. You know, you're not going to get a diamond. You know, people are like, well, it's hard to do. This is what looks like when you want deals. This is how you make money. It's not nice. It's not pretty, but this is where it is. I like this stuff. I wish I could, but it's all cash buy, all cash. But the bank, if the bank owns it, sometimes they'll make a deal with you. So say, what will you offer me for a loan? Well, and then let them talk.
29 gross, 185. Still renting because I vomit at
prices.
Amortization tables.
Oh yeah, it makes you sick on the debt. Yeah, get over it.
Want to stay in this part of the city, but want to stay in this part of the city for 2 years. So I ended up looking at dumb shit like this to hard low ball. Am I retarded?
No. Don't like amortization tables are just like of course it's gonna make like I paid that much debt. You're not gonna get there anyway without it, man. It's like that's like when I hear people like say when you say shit like that, man. That's like those people that are like ultimate cheapskates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they're like living in poverty. And they're like, I bring my phone charger because I can use their electricity.
Yeah.
So I sit in a McDonald's all day to charge my phone. You know what I mean? They'll eat like a half of a can of soup.
Yeah.
Like that. They'll eat like a bean.
Yeah.
Like that's like
I
staring
get my salt and pepper from McDonald's.
Yeah, staring at something that's gonna fuck you either way and saying you're not gonna play is like staying on the sidelines like long term is just gonna fuck you over. It's doing damage on you, buddy. I don't 425 Stanton Ave, Pittsburgh. I don't know if it's 4205, but it's the wrong one. But yeah, no, if you're gonna stare at how much, yeah, I know, I get it. You're paying $500,000 in interest. I get it. Yeah, you got to look at the flip side of it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're paying rent, and then if you were living for free in a multi, or you were living, you were gonna pay it anyway, or you were paying your mortgage and the rent. You know, if you're buying the right thing at the right time, in the end, there's just like a free paycheck. It's the same thing. If you want to simplify it in simplest terms, you know, you're paying rent, and in the end of it, there's a check for 50 or 100 grand for you if you do it right. You know, or so much percentage. So if you're in the right area at the right time, and yeah, it is a crap. No, it's not a crapshoot. It's homework, but I think that's kind of like what we're doing here. But the areas are robust, man. Don't lose faith because there's nothing else that's going to hand you something easily. And accessible. Oh, 401k and all that. All the growth and all that. Yeah, take it out. Go spend it then. Watch what happens. You want to talk about that? Percentages where you get taxed immediately? That destroys me. I don't get that.
Got pre-approved. Thinking about putting an offer. We're in Cypress, Texas.
But anywhom.
Pre-approved.
I don't like this kind of stuff, buddy. I think, let me see where you are in Texas. It's big. It's 5-bed. It's 5-bath. It's kind of like a 1 in a million thing. It might be the best house in the neighborhood, you know, square footage, but it's really just a show. I don't think so, man. I think this is a reach. I don't know what you're buying this thing for, but it's not on the market. Oh, it's 45. Okay. It's all right. It's just not my steez, man. I'm not a big like McMansion guy. This thing's got like it's like a Honda Pilot. Like it's like a Honda Pilot EXL. Like it's all there, but It's just going to trade. It's going to trade properly. You're going to be able to live in it. If you have a good job and you make a lot of money and you don't want to think about your house, go for it. If you want to live in like a hotel, this is the house to do. But I wouldn't spend a dime on it. There's no sense in trying to make this house the prom queen because you're going to spend $150,000 trying to make this thing perfect, and I don't think you're going to get a dollar back. It needs a backyard, but you don't have access to it, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. You're going to have to make a handshake deal with your neighbor, or you're going to be able to have to squeeze things in here. But maybe they'll get small equipment in here, but I mean, it's big. The square footage is good, and the room is good, but you know, you got limitations. You're probably in an HOA. What's your HOA? $83. So your limitations. So whenever you're in an HOA, the house can only be so nice. You know what I mean? Like you're capped. So it's really like how good of a decorator you are, to be honest with you. So that being said, it's your job here is to fool a Texas princess into thinking she's a Kardashian if you're buying one of these houses. That's the move on this. So it's up for you to like decorate the place to be like, I'll get my white Range Rover, y'all, and I'll get my hair 8 feet tall, y'all, and I got my massage. I'll put some olive oil on my fat old fake D titties because I was a Texas volleyball player. Hook 'em horns. But I mean, it's a lot of square footage, and the price per square foot isn't that bad. So I will say that. That being said, that's the nice part. It needs a backyard.
Note on this house: my grandma wants to buy this house and would live in the main house, while my girlfriend and I would live in the ADU. Just accepted a sales engineer job in Charleston, South Carolina.
Cool. What's grandma gonna say when she's just like,
during our South Carolina show?
yeah.
Good.
How's grandma gonna deal with that? She's
I'm
like,
there.
I'll just watch some Jeopardy. Oh, look, the Ken Jennings is the hosting Jeopardy. That should be fun. So good luck. Good luck. But that being said, hey, free place to live. You have to time it out. But the in-law is very close to the. Unless you can live in the garage. Oh no, never mind. I'm sorry. You're in the garage. Go for it. This is the garage. My apologies. Stupid. Go for it. Hell yeah, free live. Go for it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of living in the second house. Any house with an ADU, that's going to be the new talk. Anything with an in-law, an additional dwelling unit, an apartment above the garage, a barn that you can live in with that's legal and stamped. Good piece of property to buy. I'm going to put that they'll call that an extra. The percentage of the price of the house will go up a lot from here on out. I promise you. That's like a call. Houses with in-laws that are legal. That's important. I think even honestly, I think some like duplexes might, because I think they're gonna try to like restamp like elderly housing or like housing your parents into some sort of like low income housing thing that towns can get more money from. I'm going through it right now with the subdivision on the house, and I'm gonna explore it. Like as soon as I get my plans are coming back this week, I'm going to the town to apply for subdivision, and then I'm gonna talk to about additional dwelling unit possibilities on the existing land. So I'm splitting the 13 acres into two with sort of this plan going on, where I'm going to build one house, and then I'm going to put the tie-in. I'm going to say, you build whatever the fuck you want. You can build a barn with an ADU, but it's a sellable piece of property that comes with the property. But I'm gonna kind of explore that specifically. But I have heard like talks about like any house that you can build a secondary dwelling and stuff like that. You know, it's super desirable. People want to live next to their elderly parents, etc., to take care of them, to save on elderly care and whatnot. So, yes, I like it. I like that stuff.